So the Amish don't date at all until they're 16. 16 and a half, right?
Not the Amish I grew up with.
All right, today we are tuning into another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching and sharing and liking this episode. Really appreciate all the support that you guys have been showing us. Today is Lavina Hirschberger's back on, and we're going to have a conversation about how the Amish women date, also how they get into, when did they get married, and how they have so many children and stay alive. So stay tuned throughout this episode. We'll get into all of the details, or a lot of the details that involve having a big family and what that's like. And so hopefully you get some value out of this episode. If you do, please feel free to share it with the people on your social media platforms. We would love that and greatly appreciate it. What was it like growing up as a young Amish lady and getting into dating?
For me to get into the dating part of it, it was very, I don't know how to explain it exactly. Like, you have, for me, the community I grew up was a very like strict, laid back community, and I was the rule follower, everything, like I did everything right. So when I joined, I wasn't like in a hurry to start dating or anything, but yeah, I wanted a boyfriend, I wanted to date and everything, because I wanted to get married and have a family and everything. And I joined when I was 16 and a half.
You joined what?
The youth group.
The youth? Okay.
Yeah, at 16
so
and a half.
What we talked about earlier, I think it was episode 2 maybe, we talked about what it's like as a youth.
Yep.
So 16 and a half is when you...
Yeah.
Got into the youth, and then you didn't immediately start dating?
No, some of them do. Very few of them do immediately.
Okay.
But most of them, they'll be with the youth for a couple months at least before they start dating. It's not against the rules to start dating immediately, but it's just like it takes a little bit of time. And for me, it took 6 months. I was 17 when I first got a boyfriend.
So I know a lot of people are asking, so the Amish don't date at all until they're 16. 16 and a half, right?
Not the Amish I grew up with, and I doubted that any other Amish do. I think the youngest age any Amish ever that I know of anyways would date is 16.
Gotcha.
Like, I know some might join the youth at like 15 and a half, but they are probably not allowed to date until they're at least 16.
Yeah, so I think for a lot of people that's like extreme, and maybe it is extreme in the way that you grew up, but really at 16 years old, how many great life decisions do you make as a 16-year-old? Come on. I mean, seriously. And relationship is some of the, probably the most challenging thing that you'll get into as an adult. And so 16 I don't think is like too early to start dating. Or too late to start dating. I think 16 is probably a little early to start dating. Now, I know that I've lost a lot of people because I'm being super conservative, but I mean, seriously, what kind of decisions do we make at 16 years old that are super valuable and wise?
Not many make the decision that leads to a lifelong partner, that's for sure. I remember growing up, like, we wouldn't start dating till we were 16 and a half, and then we had, like, friends that were non-Amish who had kids that were 12 and 13, and they were already dating.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, like, preposterous to us. Like, that was just... It is. Like, why are these 12 and 13? I know a lot of them do it in this society. It's, like, the most common thing ever. But why does a 12 and 13-year-old need to date? Like, what is the purpose of dating at that? Because dating I know it isn't probably in this society, but it should be done with the intention of getting married. And what 12 and 13-year-old is looking for their life partner at that age?
Yeah, I mean, but you got to try a bunch of. I mean, don't
Right.
you have to try a bunch of them out
Right.
before you know which
drive.
ones? Test drive a bunch of them before you know which one you want to
Nope, I'm
settle
not a
down
car.
with. Oh, that's great. You're not a car. That's
I'm
right.
not,
You're
and-
not.
I don't know. This society has started dating just a little bit messed up.
Yeah, and in all fairness, I wouldn't say that the Amish have it right either. I wouldn't say that I would recommend dating the way we dated to my kids. So I'll just share a quick story. I mean, the Amish do not, from the way I grew up, the Amish do not date until they're 16 and a half. And there was this girl, or there's this family that was in our community. They were non-Amish, and there was this girl that, like, her siblings were trying to get her, like, interested in dating me, and I was probably 12 at the time. And I was this shy Amish kid, and there was no way, like, I could ever get myself to date this girl or say that I'm her boyfriend, because it was just, like, so foreign to me. I mean, I don't think, I mean, the parents don't teach you to date at that age. It's not even something that they consider that you should be thinking about. And so, yeah, I didn't date until I was probably maybe 17, 17 I think I was.
Do any Amish parents teach their kids at any age how to date?
That's a great point you bring up there, because they don't. I mean, it's an unspoken thing, like a lot of things are in the Amish community. Is yeah, that's a great question. Do they? I mean,
No,
did your
they
parents?
didn't teach me. No, you're just automatically supposed to know, I think. Like,
Yeah.
they just assume you know it somehow, I think. Like, in my case, they did. You
Okay.
join, they're just like, they assume you, I don't know how you're supposed to know it, but somehow they figure out that you're supposed to know it. Like, there's a lot of things that happened to me when I first joined. Would make a great story for today. I might tell it. That I didn't know how it was supposed to work. I knew what it was called, but I had no idea what happened
Yeah.
under that description. And then when it was supposed to happen to me, I didn't know what to do. And I
God.
didn't do it right, which go me, because it wasn't anything good anyway. So.
Yeah, that's so typical. I was pretty okay with not doing a lot of things right in the Amish community. Oh my god. I just do not like this unspoken, I don't know, there's just a big turnoff about something that should be verbalized or communicated so that people just know. But society or the community just decides, like, hey, these people are just gonna know as they come along, and we're not gonna tell them, and they're gonna have to figure it out on their own. So let's just make it difficult for them.
Did you, like, in your community, did you guys make it, like, a big deal to get schnitz? Like,
Schnitz, yeah, I don't know what that even means, but
so
The-
you, okay.
so I was supposed to know all this stuff because I was a part
Same.
of the youth, and I think I just remember what that means. Doesn't it? Like, go ahead and explain it, because I don't know if I can explain it right.
So they call it schnitz. I don't even know what the English word would be for that. Schnitz, which wouldn't make any sense. And
Somebody look it up. Put it in
No
the
kidding.
description.
I used to look up in the dictionary to see, because they talk about it before you're with the use, and you hear the word all
Yep.
over, but you have no idea what it means, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, schnitz in German, in our language, meant like a a schnitz pie or something like that, and that is not what it meant. So they like the way we dated was Saturday nights. The boy, like a group of boys, would bring one boy to you, like into your bedroom, and like he'd stay there for the night, and that's how they dated. So to get schnitz, they
Wait. I just interrupted, so forgive me for that, but a group of boys bring a boy to your house, which you're staying at your parents' house, and then that boy just like randomly stays in your room all night, or does he go to bed with you that night without having sex? Because you're not allowed to have sex. I had this conversation with a friend here recently, like, when you're Amish, you're allowed to sleep with your boyfriend, girlfriend, but you're not allowed to have sex. And it's also, they also like say that they're not having sex, when in reality we all know that two teenagers in the same bed is probably going to equal sex.
Either that or they're going to literally hate each other.
Oh, okay. So the boy comes to your house and stays in your room. Does he go to bed with you?
Yeah, but they don't just randomly bring a boy to your house. They ask you, like a week before at church or something like that. They'll ask you if it's okay, and your answer is yes or no. And then they ask the boy if he wants to. His answer is yes or no. If your answers line up, if you're both yes, then they'll bring that boy to your house, and he'll sleep in your bed all night with you. You keep your clothes on and everything. So
that's legitimately how it happens?
Yes.
I see. I completely messed that part up, because I had to know, and the boys drugged me to the girls' room anyway. So I like refused to stay with her.
That's probably what they call the schnitz, because the schnitz is different.
Oh yeah, I think
that's
it is, yeah.
Your breaking in thing. Like they will bring a random boy to a young girl that just joined the youth to her bedroom, and he's supposed to kiss her. That's all he has to do, and then he can leave. And when it happened to me, like I had no idea what was supposed to happen or go down. And they brought the boy, they left him there.
Wow.
And
this is crazy.
Then they left, and he just he blew the lamp out, because we have oil lamps. He blew that out so my room was dark. And after they left, he just left too. And I didn't know that was wrong. Like, I had no idea what was supposed to happen. So he left, and then they also bring a boy to you. Like, you get a kiss, and then you have to give someone a kiss, like a younger boy that joined after you did. And so they brought a boy to me, and I just assumed like they'll leave him there for a couple minutes and he'll leave, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah. They left him there. As soon as they left, he left. And so I was supposed to have gotten one kiss and given one kiss before I can date. You have to do that before you can date anyone. And I was illegally dating in there, according to their rules. So I started, I got a boyfriend. I started dating, and we dated for 10 months, I think. Then we broke up. And one of the boy that I was supposed to kiss, first off, before I started dating, tattled on me and said that I didn't kiss him. And so when we broke up and I was single again, then they're like, okay, you still have to kiss someone. So they were going to do it, and they asked me Sunday evening at church, at the youth gathering, they asked me if they can bring a boy to my house. And I was like, yep, bring him, because I had plans to leave Monday after. And I did. They asked me Sunday, I left the Amish Monday, so I don't know what they did with their boy.
So there's a short version of the Amish dating story, and it's still to be continued, because Lamina left the Amish. He left the poor boy hanging. He never got a kiss.
He's a dad now, so.
Oh wow! So he's married and has.
Yeah, he actually got his girlfriend pregnant out of wedlock, which is either you're having sex or you hate each other because you're two teenagers together in a bed. And my case, I dated for 10 months. The guy never kissed me, so we didn't like each other.
What in the world? How did you date for 10 months and you didn't like each other? Like,
well, okay.
The Amish dating must be completely different than the outside world, cause
so like they bring a boy to your house,
and
my house, we never locked our doors. Like, we don't ever lock our doors. We don't even have keys, cause we're on the country in the sticks. Like, no one is gonna break in, and so and some Amish do like lock their doors, like especially to go to sleep at night, but we never did.
Yeah.
And so some were like the boy kept coming to my house. Like, I told him, like, I wanted to quit and everything. And he wouldn't quit because it was out of my control. Like, he's coming to me. I'm not going to him. Like, I could have locked the door, but Mom or Dad, like, I went to bed before they did, so they would have probably just unknowingly unlocked it without thinking about it. And so it took 10 months for me to convince him that I do not like him enough to keep seeing him. So... I don't know how in the world, because when they're dating, the boy gives his girlfriend, a ride home from the youth group. Like, every 2 weeks they have church, and then afterwards in the evening you guys talked about this on a different episode too. They, like, after church around 7 or so, they'll get together, sing for a while, and then they disperse and go home. And the boy usually takes his girlfriend home in the buggy. And we did that, like, we were the typical couple. And, like, I never, like, you have the buggy seat, and you have, like, a blanket to cover your lap so you stay warm.
Yep.
And I always, like, got as far to the other side of the buggy that I could so I wouldn't have to touch him. I didn't say a word unless he asked me a direct question. And I don't know how in the world he didn't, like, get the hint. Like, did he... I don't know. Was he slow in the head or... Okay, I don't have a lot of respect for that guy to this day. Like, I don't know, he was just doing it for the first time too, so maybe he just didn't know any better either. But
you traumatized the poor guy. I mean,
he
was he was just trying to go on a date. I mean, come on, Lamont, I gotta play along a little bit. So that's why it's like the Amish dating is so different, because or part of the reason why it's so different is because the fathers don't step in. They don't, like, say, hey, you're not dating my daughter. She doesn't want you to come to the house. Like, none of that. If the guy is from the community, or if he's from the same church as the way that, like, the bishops have to line up, the rules have to line up, so the same community could be a different state. But if that's the case, then that guy can date you if he wants to. And the dad will not say anything in most cases. Maybe some dads would, but in most cases it is a rule that boy can work it out with the daughter of whoever, and they will date for however long she allows him to. And some of them give in, I feel like, over time.